I stayed on with my father's family after I turned 21 and helped them move from Indiana, where we then lived, to Illinois. There I helped build a house, split rails, build a fence, cultivate a farm, and this with the help of an uncle, John Hanks. And then I was off on my own. I went off to the little settlement of New Salem. New Salem was a frontier town. And during the Indian War, I was elected captain of the militia. Later on, I re-enlisted as a private. Alas, we saw no by fighting Indians. But I had a great many struggles with the mosquitoes. Now, while I was here, I learned to read everything I could get a hold of. I had an unquenchable desire to improve myself. Every chance presented itself to me. And I ran for office. I ran for the legislature, but I was defeated. But that didn't worry me because I went into business with a partner. We opened a mercantile store. But it failed as we were neither good businessmen. I did learn honesty, dealing with my customers and with the creditors, as I worked several years to pay off the store's debts after we closed their doors. And while I was there, I was made the deputy county surveyor. Well, then again in 1834, I applied again for Congress, for the legislature, and I won. Served 4 terms in the state legislature. I was the Whig Party. The Whig Party was a minority, and I was the floor leader. We did, however, succeed in bringing the capital to Springfield. I studied law while I was there, and shortly after obtaining my license, 1836-37, I moved to Springfield and set up home there. Well, there was a group of young men there, and we'd meet together often and discuss and debate the issues. One of that group was Stephen Douglas. Well, during that time while I was there, I worked for 2 law firms who were very prominent before I set up my own law firm. That firm, I took in a partner, and his name, William Herndon, and we worked together throughout the rest of our careers. We didn't just work on small cases, we worked on large ones. I mean, I did write a circuit, but we won one that was very notable. It was for the Illinois Central Railroad. We won it for them, earning my partner and I a goodly commission. And there were others. We worked for the McCormick Reaper Corporation. Now, I wrote something I think you need to hear. It's very, very important here. As a peacemaker, the lawyer has a superior opportunity of being a good man. There will still be business enough. And, well, the lawyer shouldn't overcharge those who don't have the means whereby to pay, thus making legal representation available to everyone. During my time there, I met Miss Mary Todd, and we got married. Set up a household. Well, we had several children. Brought us great joy and pleasure, but also sadness, as several of them died before they were adults. I again ran for office. When I wasn't campaigning for myself, I stumped for others, the Whig Party persuasion. And then, in 1846, I ran for Congress. I was elected, served 1 term in Washington. Now, I wrote a lot to different people. Maybe I can find my letter here. I wrote to a friend of mine, Mr. Joshua Speed. Yes, here it is. I told about my political strivings to folks. You inquire where I now stand. That is a disputed point. I think I am a Whig, but others say there are no Whigs, and that I am an abolitionist. When I was at Washington, voted for the Wilmot Proviso a good 40 times. No one ever tried to unwig me for that. I now do no more than oppose the extension of slavery. I am not a know-nothing, that is certain. You're curious about what a know-nothing is, aren't you? Well, let me explain. There was a political party named the American Party. Now, they were maybe different than any party you know by that name. This party was against all immigration. And they had secret meetings. At those meetings, they would keep them secret. You'd ask somebody when they came out, what did you talk about? I know nothing, they'd all say. That was their response. Hence the nickname. Now, where was I? I am not a know-nothing, that is certain. How could I be? How could anyone who abhors the oppression of Negroes be in favor of degrading classes of white people? Our progress in degeneracy appears to me to be pretty rapid. As a nation, we began by declaring that all men are created equal. Now we practically read it as all men are created equal excepting Negroes. And when the know-nothings get control, it'll read all men are created equal excepting Negroes, foreigners, and Catholics. When it comes to this, I prefer to immigrate to some country where they make no pretense of love and liberty. To Russia, for instance, where true despotism can be taken pure and without a base alloy of hypocrisy. Your friend forever, A. Lincoln. Now, I thought maybe I ought to interrupt here, tell you about my stovepipe. This was the fashion of the day. You can see by its height, it extended my 6 foot, almost 4 inch frame, so that my stature was much taller, more imposing. And it had practical uses. Why, I could stuff letters and newspapers and dispatches inside of it. It came in handy when I was a postmaster. Also, I found that it probably saved my life one time. I went out riding when I was in Washington, wanted to get some night air. Once I was astride the horse, an assassin's bullet was fired at me. It missed me, but it killed my hat, removing it from my head. However, it was warm in the winter and a suitable receptacle for my gloves when I entered someone's house. Well, I guess maybe I have to get on something more serious than that. The election came up 1858. I ran for office. I ran for the Senate against Stephen Douglas to come and govern. I challenged him to a series of debates. Well, we were used to debating. We'd done this for a long time. He was for slavery and I wasn't. He was for the extension into all territories and I wasn't. So I spoke on these things. Now, in Springfield, there were like 23 or so ministers. 20 of the 23 were against me. They based it on statements like this one from one of my speeches. They pretend to believe in the Bible and be God-fearing Christians, yet by their ballots, they are demonstrating they don't care if slavery is voted up or voted down. But I know God cares, and humanity cares. And if they don't, surely they have not read their Bibles right. In the debates, it came to the point of, well,